Vinyl community, it's Tommy in North Carolina, and it's great to see you all. Well, today is the day, and of course I'm not very prepared because I just brought everything downstairs, but the list for Record Store Day 2019, April 13th. So it's a little earlier this year, but the list is out, and so let's talk about it. First, a little housekeeping. I've said that a little bit. Jeff Party did a video on this already, so go check it out. But Vinyl Me Please, which is kind of a record club, I joined as well this month because there was a record that I wanted to get that I didn't have. It was the Van Morrison Feed and Fleece LP. And so I didn't have a copy because I think Jeff Party owns all copies of this album. And so I haven't even opened mine yet, but I know he did a video earlier today on this. So I'm excited because I love this album. It's a great record, and it showed up in Vinyl Me Please, and so I got a copy. And so looking forward to hearing it. Probably going to spin it a little later tonight. But go check out Jeff's video. Jeff's talked quite a bit on that album, so there's nothing really to add for me other than I have it. So let's get to what we're really about. Record Store Day 2019. It's a big list. And the first thing that jumped out to me on the list was soundtracks. A lot of 90s soundtracks showed up on this list, and just going through and looking. Really, really strange to see that. Sorry about the blur. This auto thing on my phone is just really bad. But I'll go through the list here, just kind of, and some of the stuff that I highlighted and some of the stuff I've checked out. Like any of the more recent Record Store Days, this one is no exception in that is a little something for everyone. And so, you know, here you go. Frank Black, 2 Frank Black reissues, Frank Black and Teenager of the Year. Those are coming out. Now, the numbers on here, and I'll kind of call them out, but the quantities, I don't believe the quantities. I never have. I think there's usually more. So, you know, say what you will. They say there's 4,500 of those Frank Blacks. These are what they're calling the exclusive Record Store Day titles. There's kind of 3 tiers. There's the exclusive Record Store Day titles. Then there are the limited runs, which those kind of scare me a little bit because you don't know where they're going to be. And then you have what they call first releases, which is usually like a colored version of the albums, or color. Or there's a variance on it. Let's see, Louis Armstrong, Disney songs, The Satchmo Way. That sounds kind of fun. B-52's Mesopotamia. Twin Peaks Season 2, Music and More, Rhino Records 2 LP set. That's for Twin Peaks fans. Now, these aren't things I'm going to try to get. I'm just calling them out as they kind of jump out. Another one that looks interesting to me is Bingo Handjob, which is REM. It went and performed at the Borderline in 1991 under an alias name. That's a live recording that's coming out. Bone Thugs and Harmony, the 1999 Eternal. A couple of David Bowies. There's usually David Bowies on Record Store Day. No exception here. Pinups, which I believe is going to be a... it says 2015 remastered version, but I think it's going to be a picture disc, is the rumor. Also, David Bowie and Marlene Dietrich, Revolutionary Songs, Just a Gigolo. That's a 7-inch coming out. There's a Jeff Buckley, a J.J. Cale 7-inch. Cheap Trick, The Epic Archive. There's a Cheech and Chong 7-inch, which is a picture disc. One that I've got highlighted here is Elvis Costello and the Imposters. It's an EP purse, and it looks like it's a collection of collaborations with other artists. I went to the Bull Moose website, which is a great source if you want to find out a little more about these releases and what's on them. But this has got a couple of tracks, like some stuff he did with Paul McCartney, Burt Bacharach. So it's like a collaboration thing of sort of stray tracks, as it were. But I'm definitely interested in that. It's going to be an EP, a 4-song EP. The big one for a lot of people, the 4-Way Street Expanded Edition. It's a 3 LP, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. I know a lot of people were looking at that. Third Man Records are doing the little 3-inch records. They're doing there's a Dead Weather, some Raconteurs, and they're actually going to put out one of those little mini 3-inch players. it's too much of a novelty for me. I mean, if I had Mick Jagger money and could just waste it, I probably would go in for that stuff, but not for me as it is. One that I've got highlighted for me that I'm interested in is the Bob Dylan Blood on the Tracks original New York test pressing. Says 7,500 of them, so I'm thinking that's going to be in a pretty good abundance, but coming out on Legacy. There is an alternative Fleetwood Mac, the self-titled album, the first one they did with Buckingham and Nicks. That's coming out. An Aretha Franklin 7-inch box set. One that I've got question marked is a single, Me and Magdalena by Ben Gibbard. Ben Gibbard from Death Cab for Cutie. But Monkees fans know this song because it's one of the songs that Michael Nesmith and Mickey Dolenz sang on the Good Times Monkees LP. It's a beautiful song. And so I might be interested in that 7-inch just because I love that song. It's a great song. Ben Gibbard actually wrote that song. So, so this is his version of it. There's some Grateful Dead, as usual, live stuff. Different things. And I'm just kind of zipping through the list here. There's a Robert Johnson 10-inch coming out. There's a Billy Joel live at Carnegie Hall from 77. Jefferson Starship Gold. That's a curious one for me. It's Rhino putting it out, but that's a pretty common record. So I always wonder about those. One of the ones I've got question marked that kind of has me interested is the Albert King Born Under a Bad Sign in mono. So that might be interesting. There's some Madonna stuff coming out. Madonna's usually good on Record Store Day. A Blind Willie McTell 10-inch. So there's some blues 10-inches coming out. Van Morrison Astral Weeks. Now it says it's a 10-inch. It's an alternative Astral Weeks for the Van Morrison fans out there. There's a Motorhead 2 7-inch vinyls. Mumford & Sons has a 10-inch picture disc. And like I said, you go to the website and look at the full list. Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. The one that I've got highlighted for sure is the Pink Floyd Saucer Full of Secrets mono. It says 6,500 of them, but I'm definitely in for that. All about it. There's a couple of Iggy Pops. Elvis Presley, the Live at the International. It looks like a 2 LP reissue. A couple of Prince and Queen titles. The Raconteurs 3-inch vinyl. There's a Lou Reed, Ramones. Another one that I know some folks are interested in, the Rolling Stones, Through the Past Darkly and Big Hits, High Tides and Green Grass. Both of those are coming out on ABCO. The Todd Rundgren Complete U.S. Bearsville and Warner Brothers singles. That's a 4 LP set. That's going to be a big, expensive set. Leon Russell Live at Gillies. There's a lot of, I also look at this, there's some Woodstock titles. Sly and the Family Stone. I think there's a Janis Joplin. So they're releasing some Woodstock sets on that. Let's see. There's a Stray Cats 12-inch. Matthew Sweet, Pleasure Island Live. That's coming out. Tangerine Dream, Tedeschi Trucks Band, 10 Years After. There's a Tiny Tim live at Royal Albert Hall coming out on Rhino. A Jeff Tweedy LP. Now here we go. The soundtracks, and this really jumped out. There's a lot of 90s soundtracks coming out. And I'm trying to figure out what the deal is, but there's a lot of them. Basketball Diaries, The Crow, I Am Sam, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and they're all on different labels too. Lost in Translation. Several soundtracks, just interesting soundtracks. So if you're a soundtrack fan, there's quite a few of them. There's the South Park movie. That's coming out. There's the Sun Records Record Store Day thing. Weezer, the Teal album, the covers album. That's coming out. There's not a number on this. There's a Jack White 3-inch. There's some White Stripes 3 inches. Dennis Wilson, Holy Man, with the Taylor Hawkins B-side where he did his version of it, which is a beautiful song. The Yes self-titled LP. Now that covers all of the Record Store Day exclusives. Now here's your limited regional runs. Like I said, I'm zipping through this, trying to make the video kind of quick. 13th Floor Elevators. Let's see. I'm just seeing if there's anything. Bananarama remixed. Tommy Bolin. There's Alice Cooper, Dirty Diamonds. Let's see. A few Doctor Who releases. There's always some Doctor Who on Record Store Day. And there's so much more on the list. I'm just kind of zipping through here. Guy Moon, Creepazoids, Guy Moon, who did soundtrack music for some like a lot of B movies in the 80s. The Creepazoid soundtrack. Morrissey, Love to Be. It's a 7-inch colored. Says here. The Andrew Oldham Orchestra, the Rolling Stones songbook. So there's a couple of Rolling Stones releases for Stones fans out there. Robert Plant, Fate of Nations, coming out. Bernard Purdie, Soul Is Pretty Purdy. That's coming out. Let's see. One I've got a question mark by is Brett Smiley, Sunset Tower. It only says there's 500 of these things. It's very unlikely that I would get it, but Brett Smiley, kind of a power pop guy from the 70s. So it's kind of on my question mark list. Not a I've got to have it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Pizza Power on 7-inch vinyl. Katie Tunstall, Extra Wax. The Trogs, Athens Andover, coming out. And more soundtrack stuff here. Boy Meets Girl, classic Stax duet. So there's some Stax stuff also hitting the shelves. John Paul White has a LP, The Hurting Kind. Wolfman Jack and the Wolfpack, Boogie with the Wolfman, picture disc. Probably a lot of fun. Those are the limited runs, and now we're finally to the first releases. Now, these are the ones that are probably going to have some variation, but will eventually be widely available. There is an Allman Brothers band, Fillmore East, coming out. Let's see. The Captain Beefheart, Trout Mask Replica. For those of you that missed out on the Vault package from Third Man, Third Man is doing a standard release of that. I know some folks were curious about that. The World of David Bowie, also coming out. Eric Clapton's One More Car, One More Rider. There's a Def Leppard, looks like a B-sides thing. Flaming Lips, they always have stuff for Record Store Day. Peter Gabriel, I've got this highlighted. Peter Gabriel, rated PG. That looks like that's going to be songs he did for soundtrack, so it's going to be a nice collection of stuff, but I'm a big Peter Gabriel fan, so that's on my list. That's on a list I got to have. There's an Al Green High Singles box set, so lots of cool singles box sets coming out. Emmylou Harris studio albums, that's a box set too, 5 LPs in the Emmylou Harris. There's a Bill Hicks coming out. Elton John, Live from Moscow. Another one I've got highlighted is the John Lennon Imagine Raw Studio Mixes. It's a 2 LP set. It looks like it's kind of a companion to the big box that came out last year celebrating Imagine. So that's it. Green Day, Woodstock 94. So there's a few Woodstock things. There's a Brian May 12-inch, New Horizons. There's a Monty Python, Life of Brian coming out. Charlie Parker with Strings. Pearl Jam are the ambassadors for Record Store Day. They have a release live at Easy Street. The Police, Message in a Bottle, 2 times 7-inch vinyl, so 2 7-inches. Otis Redding and Booker T and the MGs and the Marquees. It's the live at the Monterey Pop, so that looks kind of cool. Rolling Stones, She's a Rainbow, 10-inch vinyl, live version from 2017. Rush, Hemispheres is a picture disc. That's coming out. Marty Stewart, Icon. That looks pretty cool. A couple of Sun O releases. Too Short, the Pimp Tape, U2, the Europa EP. More 90s music. Coneheads soundtrack. I mean, okay. Ghost World soundtrack. I know there's a few people interested in that. Malcolm X. Mickey Mouse Disco coming out. New Jack City. Office Space. A lot of soundtracks. I mean, there really are a lot of soundtracks. Transformers, Dark of the Moon, Revenge of the Fallen. There's a Best of Townes Van Zandt, Howard Stern's Private Parts. So the soundtracks are really, really showing up in full force. And the other one I've got, there's a Weezer release, Dusty Gems and Raw Nuggets. Might be interesting. I think maybe a B-sides collection there. And finally, one of the things I've got highlighted here is a Frank Zappa, The Guitar World According to Frank Zappa. I've got all the other Frank Zappa Record Store Day releases. So that's going to probably be on the list. So I didn't highlight a whole lot, and I'm sure there's going to be some other things that's going to trickle out that I'm going to be probably interested in. With those that I highlighted, those are kind of mine. What do you have highlighted? What do you think of the list? I know a lot of people are down on Record Store Day. You know, I get it. But what do you think? Tell me. Comment down below. Like, subscribe, share. You know the drill. You know all the things to do. And I appreciate everyone that takes time to comment. Anyway, Record Store Day 2019, it's coming. So, there's the list. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, TommyBurton75. We'll see you next time. Thanks.